Hey everybody and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott.
And I'm Ben.
And today we have actual news to talk about. Woo!
Yeah! Because we like to stay relevant.
Yeah, that's what this channel is about. It's Split Couch Games tagline, relevancy. But anyway, we have a topic that is interesting, and that is that Nintendo Switches are getting bricked by third-party docks.
Yeah,
and Ben knows a little bit more about this than I do, so take it away, Benjamin.
As far as I have seen, it's primarily only a specific brand. I believe it's the Nyko brand. If my phone would actually pull stuff up when I click on it, that's cool. It doesn't need to do that. Anyways, no, I believe it's the Nyko brand of Nintendo Switch docks, and basically, the story is if you upgrade to the most recent firmware update for the Nintendo Switch, and you have one of these third-party Switch docks, then you can potentially end up bricking your Nintendo Switch. Because people are reporting that, like everything was fine, they updated, and then, they left it plugged into this third-party Switch overnight, and then all of a sudden, they go to try and use it the next day and it won't turn on.
Yeah.
And there was someone that went and I think they probably cracked open the Switch or something like that, would be my guess. And they were saying that the Switch was receiving power from the dock, but it wasn't actually charging the battery at all. So I don't know if that means that there was just some weird, no pun intended, switch that got flipped somewhere that made it so that that couldn't be happening, or if this is as simple as okay, well, that third-party one doesn't work anymore, but if you go plug it into this first-party dock, that it will again start charging and it'll be fine. I haven't seen any information regarding any sort of potential workaround like that or anything, but what we have seen is Nintendo's official response, and that is essentially the same type of response they give about any sort of third-party accessory for any of their devices, which is essentially that they don't support it and they can't guarantee that it'll work and or not cause problems.
Sure.
Which, that is something that they, as a company, have been saying for quite a while.
Well, I mean, okay, so to be fair to Nintendo on this, that is completely reasonable.
Yeah.
Because if they say oh yeah, we totally support this, but then some breaks that on that end, then they could put themselves in potentially a position where they're liable, or even just bad PR, because it's oh, it's just not working, and it's well, I mean,
yeah, and that's why I don't know if they still do, but for the longest time Nintendo had a couple of third-party accessory manufacturers that were pretty much always licensed.
Yeah, like the Nintendo certified or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know if they do that anymore, but they used to at the very least. So
yeah. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, like you were saying, it makes sense, but I also feel it's kind of Nintendo's responsibility to not have their systems be able to be bricked in such an easy fashion.
So
I guess.
So that kind of raises a question that I have about this whole thing. So I don't own a Switch. I think I've held a Switch once, and it was cool, this is a Switch. I didn't look into it. So how does it plugs into the dock through a USB-C, right?
Yes.
And then the dock has an HDMI out to do the display.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, like, because that's the only connection that's being made, right?
I think so, yeah. I haven't looked at the bottom of my Switch in a very long time because anytime I'm playing it, it's in docked mode, so...
Sure. I guess, like, I'm just, like, I'm pretty sure that that's how it works. Is that, like, there's one connection. It's the USB-C, powers it, and runs the out display.
Yeah.
How could they, like, the Nyko and the first party dock be
Have
different?
anything different?
Like, it honestly almost sounds like it is actually Nyko's fault. Like, I could, because, like, if there's something wrong with their USB-C ports or, like, whatever, like,
Yeah.
if they're trying to, like, cut costs by doing a cheaper one. But even that, like, seems silly because it's like it's a standard. Like, I think they're all the same. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure exactly how all of that works. Because now that, I have the article that I was looking at open and everything, it is Nyko. Mm-hmm. That was the brand, and it definitely, like, looking at the dock itself, it definitely only has a USB-C like plug. So I mean, I honestly don't know what could possibly be going wrong. I mean, unless it, like, Nintendo decided to do some sort of, like, shady type of thing where, their USB-C was, like, ever so slightly different, like maybe it has, like, one extra connection point or something.
Yeah, the Nintendo connection, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so, maybe they made it so that if that connection isn't being made, that the system doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or something. I kind of doubt that, because I feel like at this point, if that were the case, then just plug it into the normal dock and it would work.
Yeah.
I mean, unless anybody who's having this issue just doesn't have the normal dock anymore.
Yeah. And I think this is all unintended. I don't think that Nintendo, like, even if Nintendo, like,
was done
has that,
maliciously.
like, I don't think they're like, you know what? We're mad at these people for having third-party docks.
Screw them.
we're breaking their things. Like, that's not, like, that doesn't make any business sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's just all kind of weird.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, the only reason that third-party docks for the Nintendo Switch are so widely used is because the third-party docks are often a little more versatile, and easier to manage and that kind of thing.
Don't scratch the screen.
Yeah, they don't scratch the screen because, like, the Nyko one that is pictured in the Kotaku article is actually open-faced.
Oh, that's nice.
Have you ever seen the docks for, like, the 3DS?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, the 3DS docks are basically just kind of like a small wedge.
Yeah.
Think like a similar concept, where, like, you still have that open face, but instead of, like, lying almost flat, it's instead, like, standing more upright.
Yeah. Nice.
But I mean,
it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make it easier to get in and out. You don't have to worry about scratching the screen, and it's going to have better ventilation, which is going to inherently make it so that your Switch has a lesser chance of warping, which is actually a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you and everybody else who's listening has actually, heard of that before, at the very least, if not experienced it themselves.
I mean, it's better. Like,
yeah.
And like that's the
Yeah.
kind of the point is that like it's like, hey, like if you want to spend a little extra money, you can have a slightly better experience, or like a experience that is more like
Yeah.
uh
And I mean,
custom.
the thing is
Yeah.
I haven't done any price checking recently, but
What?
um when the Nintendo Switch dock originally came out as like an extra accessory that you could buy, um it was something like $70.
Yeah, because you need the Nintendo Connection port
Yeah.
on the USB-C.
But then like by comparison, like you look over here and it's like, Nyko is selling something for like $30 or something. So it's like, of course you're gonna go for the cheaper option.
Oh, absolutely. My my friend had this is kind of a tangent, but whatever. This is us. He had Nyko battery rechargeable batteries for his
Yeah.
360 controllers. Oh my god, those things were so much better than like the Microsoft ones, because it
Mm-hmm.
was like the Microsoft ones took like so long to charge, and then they died pretty quick, and then they even like ran out of charges incredibly fast. But
Yeah.
like the Nikos, like you could charge them for I think it was like 45 minutes, and then they'd be good for like 5 hours, and then like
Yeah.
they lasted like 2 years under heavy use,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, those good.
It,
So like I don't know, like it's one of those things where it's like first party like usually like works, but they're not like efficient. Like whatever
yeah.
whatever it is, it's like, hey, look, this is what we made. We want you to like, and majority of people buy those because it's like, oh, it says Microsoft on it, it says Nintendo on it, like these must be good.
Yeah.
And then like Nyko's like, hey, look, we're if you're savvy, like our shit's just as good. Come buy it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Nintendo is typically something that I pretty much always buy, like, brand name of. And that is, A, because I worked in their consumer support. I know the type of questions that would be asked and the stonewalling that would happen if I ever called in saying, like, this isn't working, and I was using something that wasn't official.
Yeah.
But it's also mainly because Nintendo branded products have always, in my experience, been of higher quality.
Yeah.
And I think like a third party dock is about the only thing that I would even consider getting. But I mean, realistically, the only reason I would need another dock is if, I decide, okay, I want to go play this in like my bedroom before I go to sleep or
Yeah.
something. Just have an extra dock in there.
Yeah.
But also, since we have cats and everything, like the extra stability of the first party dock would probably be to my benefit.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you hit the nail on the head. Like if you're kind of like you're rarely going to like move it to another room in the house and play on another TV, or maybe you want one that like you can transport more easily, so you don't have to like unhook. Like if you're going to a friend's house and you want to play on their TV, basically like then I think like the Nyko one is like perfect for that. It's like, hey, look, it's like super easy, cheap, so if it breaks in transit, like it's not a big deal. The Switch is not going to be in there for extended periods of time. Like,
Yeah.
but at this point, it breaks it, so obviously don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly just a mistake, and I think that Nintendo is going to fix it in the next firmware update, or roll it back or something like that. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
think that
mean-
like it's bound to happen because I doubt that Nintendo tests those things on other third-party stuff. Like,
Well, I mean, they don't, and
Yeah.
that's the entire point. Like that was.
Well,
their
I mean, like,
official
what I'm saying is,
statement
like,
was
they-
that,
they could
they
say
don't
that they
test
don't
it,
support
they're
it,
not
but, like,
responsible.
they might have like one person that is there that's like dedicated to testing like third-party stuff just to like see what happens, like to like know what potential issues there are.
I mean,
It-
maybe I never worked in their test department, but I mean, when I was working,
I'm doubting it. I'm just saying that like if I was running Nintendo, I would have that be the case, just to know.
oh
But,
sure,
Um,
um,
I doubt that that's happening.
yeah. I mean, I have no idea if it is happening. I don't think that it happened during the time that I worked at Nintendo, but like I said, that was not the department I was working
Yeah.
in, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah. I mean, I think like it. Yeah, it's rough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just.
I mean, I just, I don't know. I find the entire thing kind of just interesting because, I mean, like you said, I always kind of, I like to give people and companies the benefit of the doubt, and that, you know, like, hey, they know what they're doing, and they're not going to do something that could potentially brick it. But then, I mean, you know, it's like, also, there's just like that certain amount of like, how does this even happen with just it's a very like standard, literally universal connection.
Yeah.
Like
It.
it's in the name, you know. Like it shouldn't be something that would change enough that it would brick in a specific brand
Yeah,
of.
that's the one that kind of like. I guess like I don't know of any other brands like maybe Mad Catz makes a dock or something.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Um, but yeah, like it is weird. It is definitely weird that like it's like, hey, we're breaking consoles on this one particular USB-C. And like I said, it's not like Nyko makes bad products in my experience. Like I think like that's my one experience with Nyko is the batteries for the
Yeah,
360. So like I'm not like Nyko's the greatest brand ever, but like I'd be surprised if they skimped on this
yeah.
and
I
made
don't
a
know. I mean,
poor product.
third-party accessories have come a long way since I was a kid
Yeah.
because I just simply don't trust them at all. You know, like typically I'll be standing there in the store and, you know, it's like I'll see like the Microsoft branded thing or whatever, and then I'll see like, you know, the Nyko thing or the Energizer thing that's like the same, but just a different brand and, you know, cheaper. And I'm like, now I'm still going to go with this because like in my mind, I'm thinking if that breaks and it ruins the controller or
Yeah.
whatever, then I'm out. Like I'm now
Yeah.
out a controller and a battery pack.
Yeah.
Whereas if I buy this and it breaks and it ruins the controller, I call Microsoft and say, "Hey, this broke and it ruined my controller," and they'd be like, "Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
We'll send you a new one."
Yeah. Which is why they get away with selling things higher than they're worth.
Yeah,
But which I mean is totally fine. Like I don't blame you for that or anything. Like that's just you've made that choice basically. And
yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah.
it's really just a choice bred out of like the woefully poor quality that third-party products used to have.
Oh my.
'Cause
Yeah.
I
So the
forget.
first third party device that I ever actually bought. That's not true. I bought. Okay, so there was. So I did some machinimating when I was in high school.
I'm interested. Oh, so it was for machinima stuff.
Yeah.
Damn,
So,
you're making me old. You're making me feel old, dude.
yeah. So the first third party thing that I bought was GameStop Xbox 360 controllers.
Well, that was a mistake.
Boy, were they bad. Like, and like I knew it. Like they were like $20. And I was like, you know, I'm in high school. I don't have any money, but I need like to have 4 people on screen for the scene. So I
Yeah.
need 2 more controllers. So thankfully, all they did was like stand there, but I had to like plan out my scenes. Like, okay, these 2 people are not going to be doing any action, so those are the ones. And then I would have to like re-sign out everyone, go back in to get them to move.
Oh, jeez.
It was a hassle, but yeah. So, but I knew going in that it was like not the best purchase I was ever going to make.
Uh-huh.
The real one though was my MLG Mad Catz controller for the 360.
Yeah, you still use that.
It's my PC. It's actually at work right now, so that if like you know there's downtime or whatever, I just play some Gears on PC. But
Slacker. I don't get that kind of fucking free time at work.
I mean you know whatever. But yeah, so it's nice. I actually played yesterday because we had a early end of the day for like a quote unquote work happy hour where our CEO updated us on the stuff, and I was like, I'm just gonna go spend the last half hour not drinking because I don't drink. and, but yeah, so it's weird playing with that, by the way.
All right, so
but it was nice. It was a really nice purchase.
Yeah, my first several experiences with third-party accessories, and this is just going to just kind of show my age, were various lighting sources, basically, for the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color. And
wait, yeah, you're right. I had the magnifying glass one that like pops over the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I didn't have that one, but I think I don't know if there were third-party ones of that.
Was it?
Like I don't know, but I know the only one I know of was first party.
Okay, maybe it was first
like
party.
It was made by Nintendo. At least I thought. I could be very wrong.
Yeah,
that is a very long time ago.
Yeah, I don't remember. I do remember having that though. So you're not that old.
But I mean, the ones I had were definitely, they were definitely third party. I can't remember the brand for the life of me right now. I think it was like Seagull or something. It was something like weird like that, and I'm pretty sure they don't exist. But like the very first one was like this like rechargeable battery pack that you would like slap on the back of your Game Boy Pocket to make it not a Game Boy Pocket, but it has rechargeable batteries. So and the battery life on that was fucking abysmal, but it meant I didn't have to spend money on batteries, so
yeah.
And then that also came with like a little like cover type thing that you could like snap onto the top, and it would come down over the screen to protect it when you weren't using it, and then you could like snap it up into the upright position, and it had a light on it that would then illuminate the screen. So like I had this fucking decked out Game Boy Pocket and or Color. I can't remember which was the first that I got, but yeah, I was like a cool 90s kid for about a month.
Let's pimp my Game Boy Color. Oh god, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were not great quality. Like the cover thing like eventually got to a point where like it would just like slope forward so that it was like sitting at a 45 degree.
Yeah. Sounds
like
about right.
It would never stay upright.
Yeah.
So that immediately makes it useless for the light thing, so I stopped using that. And then the battery pack itself got to the point where like it would hold a charge for maybe about an hour.
Yeah.
And
that's actually pretty good,
be
though.
Dead. No, I mean like it would hold a charge for an hour.
Oh.
So even if you weren't playing it, if it was sitting there turned off for an hour and not plugged in, it would be dead.
Well, I mean, that's your fault for leaving it sitting there, I guess.
And yeah, that was my first experience with third-party accessories. I had a few others growing up, and then I eventually just kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And I went pretty much all first party. I think the last third-party accessory I purchased, well, when I say I purchased, I mean I received / my parents purchased because I was a child.
I'm going to call bullshit on this one already.
What?
But go ahead, tell your story. Just go tell your story.
I'm very confused. Okay, whatever. Something for the Nintendo 64, I think. And just to be clear, I feel like gaming headsets and that kind of thing don't count.
Oh, okay. Why?
Because it's inverse. And not only that, but like they aren't looked at by Microsoft and Nintendo and everything as if you use it and it breaks, like the system, that's not our problem.
I mean,
Like
when
they're
the
actually
Xbox One first launched, there were no third-party headsets allowed.
Yeah, there were.
There were.
There just weren't any available.
No, no, because it was like I think it was like Turtle Beach was the only one that had the rights to the licensing for the thing.
I mean, sure, I guess.
It wasn't until like
I see what you're saying in the sense that like they didn't have like that proprietary connector in the controller or whatever. But you could still use old headsets on the Xbox One.
Sure.
You just either needed the adapter that came out like 2 months later, or you needed to just not chat. But the headset itself still worked.
Yeah. All right. Fine. But I think
I mean,
still
again, those are things that are typically supported by the console manufacturers. At least in my opinion, those don't count.
Okay. So what did you get for the Nintendo 64?
A memory card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because remember, video game consoles used to have external memory cards. Even the fucking OG Xbox had.
Oh, that's right.
They had memory cards, and they
No,
measured the
had,
hard drive space in blocks.
I think I had a third-party PlayStation memory cards. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
For the original PlayStation. I think they
I mean,
held like
memory cards
5
were
megabytes or something like that.
Right? Memory cards are a thing that I feel like it doesn't matter if you go third party with memory cards. I never had any issue. And I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having any issues. I think the only well, no, there were third party original Xbox memory cards. I just don't think we ever owned any.
Yeah.
Man, that was back when like memory cards were like, oh man, I spent like $60. Got this 8 meg memory card.
Did the 360 had memory cards?
Yeah, for a little while around initial launch, and actually if you bought the like basic version of the 360 that didn't come with a hard drive, memory cards were your only option.
Yeah, because they had the freaking like memory card slots in the front.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the 360 had a very, very long lifetime. Like to put it in perspective, the 360 came out the year, because I think it came out in 2005, right?
Yeah, 2006, 2005. Yeah.
Okay, so it came out at the end of 2005. So I had one for a few months before I graduated high school.
You're old.
And then I went all the way through college and moved across the country and started my current job before the Xbox One came out.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. It launched on November 22nd, 2005.
Yep. So yeah. And it went from having an option of no hard drive to the worst option is like a 250 gig hard drive.
Yeah.
I think the very last rendition of the 360 still had memory card slots though, didn't it? Or did they get rid of those at some point? Do you have the S in there?
Yeah, I have the S. 1 second. Vamp.
Yeah.
Good vamping, Ben. It's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't hear what you said. I thought So I was like, oh, maybe he's just like waiting to, like, he wants silence so he can know where to cut or something.
Well, I mean, I'm going to know where to cut. There are no memory card slots on the S.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
The X.
Not really.
the
I mean, I'm never
Xbox.
gonna own one, but
Yeah.
you know.
You're like, oh, I don't have to buy memory cards. I wonder how many people were mad about that though. Like whenever they discontinued the memory cards, they were like,
Well, if you remember, this
I
is how it
remember
went. They discontinued like manufacturing the memory cards, and then still kept the memory card slots around for like a few different renditions. And then when they got rid of them, they were like, but wait, if you really want the memory card experience, here's a 5 gig USB stick. Do you remember that?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Remember when like, so they basically they partnered with SanDisk, and they were like, look, we're gonna paint this one
Green
and call it
charged
the
like
Xbox
twice the
360.
price.
Yeah, it was literally twice the price, and I was like, I sat there and I had like the exact same memory stick, but just like regular SanDisk, and I'm like, what's the difference? And like I never bought the Xbox one. I was just like I plugged in that one, reformatted it to be a Xbox memory card, and I was like, yep,
Yeah.
that's what it did.
Well, I think the difference is that at the time, like the normal 5 gig stick that most people would buy was of a slower speed. I think.
No,
I don't know.
It was. I don't think it was.
Because I mean, I know that like right now you can go out and buy like essentially the same thing, except it's a green 2 terabyte external storage, but it is at a faster speed than what most other external hard drives are. Like it's at like 7,200 RPMs as opposed to 54
Yeah,
or
but most
something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
we'll
I don't know.
look
I
into
mean,
that at some point, maybe.
it's irrelevant, really. It,
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't
I
matter.
use that
We are way off topic, honestly, but
look,
who cares? That's what we do.
We talked about what we talked about, and we said all the things we needed to say, and now we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I use the USB drive to transfer my gamer tag around places,
Yeah.
like to friends' house. I'd be like, boop, and then you signed it. It was great. There was no cloud. You had to do it physically. Because it was either that or you had to wait like 20 minutes to download your profile.
The cloud existed for like last several years of the.
But you still like it was still like a long time to download your profile. It was because it wasn't in the cloud. It was like you had to like sign into your account, and then it had to like download all your information, like all your achievements and everything.
You must have done it differently than I did because mine was literally in the cloud. Like it was just there. Like I copied it over to the cloud.
Maybe I didn't trust the cloud. It took me a long time to like trust the idea of the cloud. To be honest, I was like,
I loved it because there was one time where I got into the habit of just like backing up the game that I was currently playing to the cloud. And I think it was Mass Effect 3, maybe, that my save went corrupt just out of the blue. Saved it to the but it was like backed up to the cloud, so I still lost progress, but it was only a couple hours as opposed to like the entire thing. So
yeah, I don't know. I was just
and
like
that's like one of the best features about the Xbox One, if you ask me, because it's just like boom, it's done. Like you don't have to micromanage your cloud storage like on PlayStation or anything like that. So
yeah, right. I agree. I'm all about the cloud now. The cloud is wonderful.
The cloud is wonderful. The CIA is like, yes, excellent.
That's my favorite meme of the year so far. Is like shout out to the FBI guy behind my webcam.
Yeah.
It's like one of them was like, I was walking through the college campus and I passed this cute girl. And all of a sudden, like, I logged into Instagram and her page popped up, and I high-fived my webcam to let the FBI guy know that I appreciated it.
Yeah, I've seen some like that where it's like, I like ordered a Xbox One or whatever off of Amazon, and then like it's just an open package with like a PS4 Pro, and then it just says like,
I got you, man.
yeah, it was like I fixed your mistake or whatever, and then it just has like dash and then FBI guy.
Oh god, I love those.
Yeah,
all right. Anyway,
good.
now we're officially like we're done. we're talking about memes. So let us know any like third party. I guess like third party stuff that you've used in the past.
Good or bad.
Good or bad, especially like if you have like from back in the day, like the Nintendo 64 days, or like later. Let us know if like there were any good experiences that we're forgetting about, and or didn't experience because
people like Ben just have a couple bad experiences and then say never again.
Never again. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Bye.
Bye.